blind man, I don't even blame him because he wasn't a disciple. He was somebody randomly who couldn't see, who needed a blessing from God. Amen. How many of you need a blessing from God? Amen. Yeah. And watch this. How many thank God that there's people around you that will say, listen, I got to get you to Jesus. Amen. Matter of fact, how many can testify to the fact that before you got saved, before you knew Jesus, there was somebody praying for you saying, I got to get you to Jesus. Amen. And how many can thank God that when you got to Jesus, you found out, wow, I can have a better life. Yes. Amen. Here you have this blind man who needed a miracle. Couldn't see. He couldn't see nothing. Couldn't see nothing. That's in contrast to just how we were before we got saved. We were blind. Couldn't see nothing. You thought you could see something. You couldn't see nothing. You was blind as a bat. Couldn't see a thing. You thought you had the answers. Didn't have not one answer. You thought your opinion meant something and it didn't mean nothing to God. You were stiff-necked. You were stuck. You were prideful. You were, my goodness, arrogant, because I know who I am. I think Pastor Brian testifies all the time. He said people would tell him he was going to hell, and he would say, all right, I'm going to be sharp and I'm going to look good when I'm down there. There were some of us that think we know all the answers, and you had no idea before you met Jesus, you were blind. You couldn't see a thing. Yeah. Here's this blind man, can't see nothing. And then Jesus said, come with me out of town. Come with me. Let me take you out. Because see, Jesus took him out. He wanted to do it on his own because he already knew that the people around him was faithless. And watch this. He had to take the man away from faithless people because even as powerful as Jesus was, he wouldn't have been able to work the miracle around faithless folk. Amen. See, this is my first point for you. While you're getting your eyes back, you need to get around some people who want to see clearly too. Amen. Disconnect yourself from people who are comfortable seeing men like trees. Amen. Those are the people who will keep you at 50% in your life because they're comfortable with being average. Jesus had to get away from all those average people in order to see an awesome miracle. Because God can do something awesome in an average atmosphere. That's why he couldn't go back to Nazareth. Because the people's mind, that's what they couldn't see. They were seeing Jesus like a tree. They wasn't seeing Jesus as the Son of God. So he couldn't even work a miracle there. Many of us are being held back from our destiny and from our promise and from our full experience of God because we're connected to average thinking, tree-seeing people. All right now. Somebody say, ooh. Yeah. And God says, I'm trying to pull you away so that I can really do what I need to do in your life. How many say, Lord, pull me away? You better get out of that uncomfortable position that you're in. Excuse me, that comfortable position that you're in. Because it's uncomfortable for Jesus to inhabit that place. It's time to break free. It's time to get away. And now here's the second thing. Here we have Jesus. He does something out of the ordinary. Jesus does something that was very iconoclastic because Jesus was original. Jesus didn't do what he saw nobody else do. The Pharisees tried to work miracles. Jesus did not mimic them. He didn't have to try to act like it. Jesus said, I'm going to use my very own saliva. The Bible just be blunt with you. He spit in his hands, mixed it in the sands. All right, he created a formula. And guess what? That man would have missed his miracle had he been uncomfortable with his formula. Stop trying to tell God how to work the miracle in your life. Amen. Stop trying to create your own formula and then distribute it to heaven so that then they can work on it the way you want them to work on it. You know why? Because I'm going to just be blunt with you. You ready? Your formula ain't going to work. Hi. You said, well, you say write your vision, make it plain. You said write down your goals, write down your vision. Yeah, write down your goals, write down your vision, and then lay hands on it and say, now God, however you bring this to pass, I'm going to be satisfied. Whether you separate me from some folk, whether you cause me to lose my job, whether you cause me to end my relationship, whether you take some money from me, that the God that I serve, if he's doing something that I don't believe in, by the time he finished doing it, I'm going to know it's right. Some of y'all ought to give God praise for the fact that God did some weird stuff to work a great miracle in your life. You ought to be praising God that he took you, who other people thought would never make it, and now he's using you for the glory of God. Amen. Just like sometimes we don't like God's plan, people sometimes don't like him using you in the plan. Yeah. Because you probably not supposed to be where you are today, according to your past. But God said, I got a different formula. All right now. And I'm going to take my daughter, I'm going to take my son, I'm going to mix them all up, and I'm going to use them to change some lives. Yeah. How many thank God that you're a part of God's formula? He's got a formula for you, but guess what? You are one of the ingredients for somebody else's miracle. If you believe that, shout amen, somebody. Here Jesus lays hands on the man, and you know, Jesus didn't take long. Jesus just said, lay hands on him. All right, Jesus said, okay, what do you see? Man said, I see men that look like trees. I see men that walking like trees. Like trees. I don't know if it's a palm tree, I don't know if it's an oak tree. I don't know what kind of trees these are, but I see men, but they look like trees. Now, was it Jesus' fault that he couldn't see clearly? Jesus did what he was supposed to do. Jesus made his formula, used his saliva, and said, mixed it all together. Watch this. He washed his eyes. Laid hands on him. I'm sure Jesus probably either he thought about it, declared it. I don't know how he did it. We don't know what happened. I don't know if the man was on his knees with his hands lifted. We don't know why was standing behind him in case he fall out because he took him by himself. But we don't know where he was at. But Jesus took and he laid hands on him. And then when Jesus asked, you know, what do you see? How your eyes doing? All right, tell me, what's going on?